Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Sketching. This is day 3 of my 5-minute sketching challenge. Today I'm going to be drawing an apple. A fruit is just brilliant to draw because you can get some decent lighting in an image. If you just set up a lamp on one side and just put the fruit on the other, you'll get some good shadows and good contrasts in your image. So yes, apples are pretty simple to draw in terms of complexity of shapes. However, they can be very challenging in terms of getting the colour and the context of the actual shapes correct. So I've kind of gone for a different approach today. I've gone for the tonal values first, trying to kind of like get the colour balance right. So kind of looking at the highlights, the shadows, the midtones, starting off with kind of a base red and then just bringing in some darker shades for the shadows. Again, this is it's just a different kind of technique of drawing, whereas traditionally, or sorry, not traditionally, but you know, some other ways of drawing are that you sketch out the outline first and go in with colour. I like to kind of vary it, and this is one of my preferred ways of drawing. So again, I'm just adding more and more colour to the kind of overall shape, and it also helps to kind of craft out the shape of what you're trying to achieve beforehand. And then what you can do is you can refine it. So right now all I'm doing is I'm just refining the edges at the bottom with the eraser and kind of sharpening it out and kind of moulding them how I want. And then I'm going to go in with a darker shade that I've selected and just add in the shadows, where the shadows are like at the bottom of the apple, because the light source is coming in from the right hand side, as you can see, with a bit of shine on the apple on the right, top right hand side. So then naturally you're going to have a darker gradient on the bottom and on the left. So it's just basically working in these darker shades, and it's quite a loose style of work. I mean, in traditional materials I'd probably do this with acrylic paints, and it's kind of why I chose the acrylic brush on Procreate, because I think it works really well with the pressure sensitivity. So now all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of kind of like a yellow lighter shade in the middle where the stalk is. Again, it's just to put the values in. It's not about getting the details spot on. It's just about putting the values in, so you're training yourself to like look at colour rather than look at the object. Look at what you're seeing in colour and the variances in colour, and so they'll eventually shape out the object that you're trying to draw. So now all I'm adding in now are the highlights. So you've got a very sharp highlight on the top right hand side of the apple where the light is hitting most strong. So obviously you've got to build this highlight in. You can put a really sharp highlight in straight away, but that'll kind of look a bit artificial. So if you're kind of going for a more realistic look, it's kind of, you've got to slowly build the highlight in layers. And that's another point as well. You might not be going for a realistic look, you might be going for more of an illustration look, and I am quite on the side of illustration rather than realism. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way. Art is all about expression, and express it how you want. So what I'm doing now is I've just got a HB pencil and I'm drawing in some kind of, bold outlines where the dark side of the apple is, and this is to kind of, bring in a little bit more detail and give it a bit more depth, and also to kind of sketch out the stalk and to bring in some, fine tuning of the shapes. So it kind of starts looking a bit more like what we're trying to draw here. I mean, reference images are great to kind of practice on, but if that's not what you want to do, if you want to kind of draw from imagination, then go ahead. But reference images will even help you draw from imagination, because it kind of builds this library of images and techniques in your kind of memory, and then you'll automatically start using them when you're thinking about imagining something. I mean, I like to do landscapes, fantasy landscape artwork. That's one of my favourite topics. projects, and I've been doing, using landscapes as references in real life and also in games. I mean, I'm not an avid gamer or anything, but I do like playing a little bit of PlayStation, and one of the main games that I'm playing currently is Skyrim, which has beautiful landscapes in it, and I use a lot of those kind of scenes and angles from the games, and looking at these amazing, beautiful landscapes to kind of come up with concept art, which helps me to kind of imagine my own landscapes. So yeah, coming back to the drawing, I went off on landscapes when I'm drawing an apple. As you're gonna have to get used to me, guys. So I've just added in some kind of lines, some cross-hatching lines to bring out some details. Again, I'm concentrating the lines on the darker sides so that your eye kind of goes towards the detail in the dark, whereas with the light it's kind of more blending in with the contrast of the kind of colours from the light to dark. And again, because this is a 5-minute sketch, my intention isn't to draw the perfect apple. I'm not doing hyper realism here. All I'm doing is just effectively just a quick little illustration sketch to get the basic shapes down. So I was actually quite happy with the end result of this, but within the 5-minute limit that I had, I usually put a stopwatch on and it starts beeping. I tend to start getting a bit panicky, but we're not timed to be judged. It's all really for kind of a learning experience, and it's just to have a bit of fun. I mean, if you don't draw a still life, then just go for it. Just have a go at doing something different. So I'm just again on the image again. We're just slowly building the details of the stalk, adding a bit of colour, and I think this was a time where 5 minutes was pretty much up. So I just quickly selected a light kind of mid-grey to add in the shadow on the table, so that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel for a lot more content that hopefully I'll be able to release on a day-to-day basis, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. So thank you so much for your time. Take care of yourself, and peace.